got mine all laid out. As you see here, we have the main mast here. We have the two, what I'm going to call the outriggers, that pretty much you know, are the main branches off the trunk that hold the drywall. We have the stability bars here, and then we have another one of the main trunks too that pretty much these things here slide into, and this one here via this pin drops into the mast. And of course we have the tripod or the wheels that the mast drops into. So of course once she's unwrapped, you'll find the handle that goes on to the wheel here. This wheel basically spins and helps you raise and lower your sheet good products. So pretty much you thread that on in there. You could probably give this a tighten with a wrench if you wanted to, just to make sure, because you don't want to be you know, stripping that or having that come out on you. So on a pretty much semi-flat surface that you can have, we'll lay the tripod out, and then we can start doing the assembly on her. Okay, so now you got the tripod or the wheels or the base or whatever you want to call her set up. Now it's time to slide the mast into the little tripod base mount thingy there and start the assembly. So that's pretty much what it does. It just slides right in there, kind of locks itself in place, and then she's good to roll. So once you got that in place, you'll notice here there's a hole on the top with the extensions that crank out. Well, over here is the outrigger thingy here that has the pin that corresponds with that. So of course you take that back over to there and you pretty much put that in its place. So pretty much like that. So right now she's set up for flat working action, i.e. the ceiling. Now if you wanted to work on a wall, you flip that down, which allows it to, you know, tilt, right? And if you wanted to work on a wall, you flip this down, which allows the whole carriage assembly to tilt. Okay, so once you've got the cross piece in there, it's time to assemble these ones here. Now of course you have a nice grooved flat you know, channel here, the same corresponding shape. So obviously you slide that one into there, and pretty much away she goes. So of course, once you got the these pieces and that all on, of course the next piece to install is the bracing, that when you're running a longer sheet, longer than 8 feet or even 8 feet plus, you slide the riggins out there to give the sheet a extra hold. Because of course when you're running drywall, the longer the sheet, the more likely you are to snap it in half if you get it bouncing. So of course this is your you know, slide outs there. They slide right into this hole right here. Of course you got to push the pin away, and you pretty much just slide it kind of right in there. Now of course this piece has holes every so often that this pin will drop into, so if you want to completely collapse it, you pull the pin, press it all the way in, and then she locks right in. So right now she is in a flat upright position, like you're going to work on a ceiling or a roof. If you're wanting to load your sheet goods in it, you flip that little switch here, and pretty much it allows it to go sideways for you. Now of course right now you have about a 4 foot or so lift height that you have to lift the sheet goods so they go onto that little silver hanger right there. That's what basically holds your goods up. Now if you're doing something heavy, that might be a little bit awkward, a little bit too much of a reach to get things going. So to pretty much operate the unit, you're going to want to fold out the arm Reagan's assembly here with the wheel pretty much like that. So you see there how she is now further away from the mast of the device of the lift. So of course we have a brake right here and the main crank wheel right there. So pretty much you take the pressure off the brake, kind of like that, start cranking on the wheel, and then of course it basically retracts the cable in and up goes the lift. So now we'll load her up with a piece of sheet good. I'm going to use OSB, of course, and then we'll do a test run with it with a bit of weight on her. So now we'll load our sheet goods. Now of course I'm going to use OSB for the demo because, well, that's going to be what I'm running. Now Drywl is going to be a little heavier than the OSB, but basically it works on the same concept. So of course first thing you want to do is flip that little switch, get the cradle sitting in the semi-vertical position. And then we'll get our OSB and we'll pretty much slide her on. The silver piece is there, and that kind of is what holds the OSB or sheet goods, drywall, panel board, whatever you're running in place. Okay, so you see the lift now is holding the complete weight of the OSB sheet goods. Now of course she is off center now to the lift, which is kind of a dangerous predicament if you're going to lift it above your head. So right now you take that little switch I showed you there and you pretty much flip the OSB now to be flat. Okay, so once you've got her on there and flipped in the pretty much, if you will, flat or horizontal position, it's time to kind of give her a crank up now. So again, showing what I did before with the wheel and the brake, we'll just start turning and we'll take her on up. Well guys, there you go, she's in the air. Well, if you're working with sheet goods that are longer than 8 feet, you're going to want to give it these extensions for these bracing here, or else the goods are going to want to pretty much bow. This is an articulating unit, so it will do like vaulted ceilings, cathedral ceilings, because it does tilt a bit because it is pivoting here at the head action there. And again, it is only recommended for one sheet at a time. I've heard some people, contractors or so, say they've put 2 and 3 sheets on at a time. But she is, like I said, only recommended for one trip, one sheet, right? But pretty much to take her on down, you just pull this brake lever here with one hand, of course, on the wheel, because the moment you take the brake off, there's nothing holding the wheel from turning, right? So you take the brake off and pretty much just crank her on down and she'll come back to earth. So one hand on the wheel, one hand on the brake. Pretty much you're going to have to release the tension a bit and then hand crank her down. Pretty much like that. So guys, that's pretty much her. Just taking a look at her now without the sheet good on her again. You have your tripod down there, you have your mast right there, you have your outriggers there with your main support. You have your main support here with your little outriggers that hold the drywall, and then your little extension supports here, of course, for the larger sheet goods. Again, she will handle up to a 16-foot long sheet, which is pretty much double what that 8-foot OSB is. But guys, if you've ever slung drywall, hung drywall, carried drywall, or done any amount of drywall work, you know what a pain it is to drywall hang sheets by yourself. It's almost next to impossible unless you've built some kind of dead man contraption to jam under one of the corners. Now, of course, your local rental store probably has drywall lifts, and the rental fee for renting them is actually quite reasonable. You know, you drop 1 or 2 sheets of drywall, depends on what kind of drywall it is, you've just paid for the rental, you know, so you know, save your back, and unless you've got a hand, you know, save your back and rent it out. But this has been an unboxing, review, and operations check. I have a Princess Auto, you know, drywall lift, panel lift, you know, panel hoist, depends on how you call her. So as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.